and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome here to round 38 in La Liga. It is the final game of the La Liga season, Alavés against Barcelona. And I first of all want to say thank you very, very much if you've reached it all the way here until the end. If you've stuck with me and you've stuck with the team until the end, yes, the title is over. Yes, technically here, there's nothing to play for. But in today's video, we are going to be discussing the words of Setien when he was grilled in today's press conference about the words of Messi, about his future, about the Champions League, and we're also going to be talking about the really limited squad that he has for tomorrow's game with just 16 players in the squad list. How are we going to line up? It's all coming up in today's video. Let's get to it. Kickoff will be coming to us at 5 p.m. local time on Sunday, and that will there be the final game, like I say, the final day of La Liga football, and it's all over then until September when the league is expected to get started again. And this is interesting because Barcelona against Alavés here will be the only game on Sunday that's a standalone game. All the rest of the ties there are going to be played at 6:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. Lots of games on at the same time, but I guess they're the fact that Alavés are safe now, they can't go down, Barcelona are confirmed second. There is literally nothing to play for in this game, and for that reason it's been brought forward there to be the 5 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. But if we move on here to that squad list, if we move on here to the players that Setien has at his disposal for tomorrow's game, and like I said there, just 16 players in the squad to face Alavés for tomorrow's game, and that includes, as you can see, 4 of those are youth players and 3 of those are actually goalkeepers. And that's not by choice. That's not Setien here saying, oh, we're just going to rest some players, we're going to leave some at home, we're not going to make too many travel for this game. That is enforced. This is literally all that he has to choose from in tomorrow's game. And as you can see there is not much choice. You've got 3 goalkeepers. And honestly, if there was ever a time to play Ter Stegen outfield, make it happen now. It never will, but I would personally like to see that. But as you can see, very, very thin on the ground. And Barcelona tomorrow, it is going to be interesting to see how we line up with these limited numbers. But if we do move swiftly on to Quique Setién's press conference that took place earlier on today, and he was asked, like I say, a number of really pressing questions in that conference there, where he's speaking about his future, speaking about the Champions League, and it was basically opened up there by saying, look, we know yesterday you had a meeting with Bartomeu, what went down in that meeting, and exactly what the situation is right now with your job at the club. And Setien came back, he said these sorts of meetings are normal. He said we're looking to improve, that's evident. He said we're trying to find solutions together to make the right changes. And he said all that stuff was discussed in the meeting, particularly there with regard to the Champions League. He said we're trying to join forces and take responsibility for not getting the La Liga title and then change what we need to change for the Champions League. But Setien there, not putting too much emphasis on that meeting, and according to reports in Spain, he is going to keep his job ahead of that Napoli game. He is going to remain in charge for the Champions League, but I do feel as though Setien's future, it will definitely be decided on how the Champions League goes, how the results go. Will we get past Napoli? We discussed all that stuff earlier on. There is still lots to be decided. Things then, of course, did move on to the words of Lionel Messi. We spoke about that in a video as well. The fact that Messi came out there and very much demanded more from the players, from the coaching staff, from the entire club moving into the Champions League there. And Setien was basically asked there once again, does he agree with what Messi said? Would he like to add anything? Would he like to respond to Messi's words? And Setien said, like everything, it's true, there are some things that we agree on and other things that we don't. He said it is true, and he is absolutely right in what he says, is that if we play as badly as we have done in some games, we won't win anything. Setien did say though, but we have also played good games too, and if we can play like in those games, we can win. He said we have to be more consistent, we've got to be more reliable, that's the reality. But if we manage to play a game like Villarreal, for instance, we will surely be in with the chance of winning the Champions League. But finding that consistency, that's key. So Setien there admitting that Messi is right in that if the team don't improve, if we don't find another level, we are going to come unstuck. Setien very much open there to that possibility. But Setien, I feel, is trying to find some positivity here. He does believe that he can turn it round at Barcelona by saying ultimately, we have shown flashes. We need more consistency, but if we can find some of those moments in these Champions League games, we will still have a chance. Setien was also asked there about the fact that Messi said the team was being beaten in games by the opposition's desire and their intensity, and that was something, a big problem right now for the team. And Setien's response, I think, was very interesting. He said, we all know that our mood is the real engine of our body. He said, we need our mood to be the best in order to give the very best of ourselves. He said, when we've clearly deserved to win and we didn't, the mood then decreases and the intensity is closely related to that mood. He said, you don't all get up in the same way when everything goes well or when it goes badly. He said, it's a lesson in life that is then transferred to football. And I think that's interesting there to talk about the mood, about the fact that when things don't go Barcelona's way, when things aren't quite clicking in the way that we hoped, it doesn't take much to damage the mentality of this team. And that's not something we've spoken about just with Setien, going back there to Valverde. It doesn't take much to really knock this team down. And Setien admitting there, the state of mind of this team right now, it's not the best. They have had a few knocks, they have had a few falls, and they haven't really gotten back up. Setien was then asked directly, do you feel singled out by Messi? Do you feel as though his words were aimed directly at your door? And Setien said, though, he said no. He said not at all. He said, I think some things can be misinterpreted. He said, I think other things, well, are just things that are moments of frustration. He said, we don't need to go any further into that. He said, this is a team that is aware of what's at stake. He said, we all need this break to clear our minds, to transform ourselves, to become what this team has been fighting for many years. And Setien openly admitting there, we do need that break. I think the coaching staff, I think the players, especially us fans, we need a break. We need a shutdown, a reset, in order to be anywhere near where we hope to be in the Champions League. Finally, though, Setien was asked there about the decision not to let Ronald Araujo, Riqui Puig and Ansu Fati play with Barcelona B this weekend in their very important promotion playoff game. And it was interesting to hear what he had to say. I spoke yesterday about the lack of depth which would have contributed to that decision. He said it's a decision that we had to think about and make as a collective. So Setien there saying basically the decision wasn't just his own. There would have been more than him just involved in that choice. He said, you see in today's squad that we have 16 players with 3 goalkeepers. That means tomorrow I'm going to be able to make just 2 subs. And then there will be no more players to participate. We would have preferred different circumstances, of course, but these are the decisions that we have to make. And I think when you talk there about that potential lineup and talk about the players that we do have at our disposal tomorrow, it is going to be interesting to see exactly what sort of team Setien goes with, because there's one or two things that you can do in this game. Number one is actually go out there and try and boost morale, try and build something, try and get that momentum and winning feeling going again. And that would be starting with arguably there the strongest team that we have. Araujo will come in at centre-back, no doubt about that. Gerard Piqué is suspended. Titley is injured. He's going to play there alongside Longley. There's no Junior Firpo. He's also suspended. Alba at left back and possibly Semedo at right back. That may be Sergio Roberto. What I would like to see in midfield, though, is a look ahead to the Napoli game, and in particular, seeing Frenkie de Jong in that natural holding role. Because against Napoli, we'll all remember that Busquets is suspended, so is Arturo Vidal, and for that reason, let's see de Jong here getting comfortable with that role. That he'll have to play against Napoli, that we will need him in that game, so I would start him there alongside Riqui as a trio to get ready for that Napoli game. And then up front, Ansu Fati, Suarez, will Messi complete the game again? That'll be interesting to see. But there's also another side to it too. If you don't want to go for that winning feeling, maybe you'll go out there and play to take no risks, players who won't be playing against Napoli. Maybe tomorrow we'll see Busquets, we'll see Vidal, we'll see Martin Braithwaite, and it is going to be interesting to see what avenue Setien goes with. I don't really want to see any risks, but at the same time, I would like to see us recover some confidence. I feel as though ending the season here on a good note, with a bit of enthusiasm, with a bit of a response, that would help us in a lot of ways. And Setien tomorrow, he's not got a lot of options. But let's wait and see. And that indeed, guys, does bring an end to today's video and does bring an end to all of the build-up throughout this La Liga season. Just like I said there at the start, thank you very, very much for tuning in, for being a part of it here. I really do appreciate that, because obviously we do have low moments, we do have difficult times. We seem to find ourselves in these quite frequently, but you're always there and we will pull through together. We will be looking ahead now to the Champions League, and let's wait and see. What happens tomorrow? Will we see a reaction? Will we see a little bit more fight in the players? Even though there's nothing to play for, we do need to get that spirit back. Let me know what you'd like to see the team be tomorrow against Alavés and what you expect from the future ahead of the Champions League. I will see you tomorrow for all of the reaction after the game. Hopefully, it's better than the other day. I'll see you then, guys. Thanks again. Bye until next time. As always, Visca El Barça.